And welcome back to another episode of
And on that note,
that was fun.
So, there, guys.
Speakers
Danielle.
preaching about cash. Does anyone know what that abbreviation stands for, guys?
No.
No.
Tell us.
But I can't figure out what it...
Tell the people.
About a
Cash. C.
So today...
SPAC.
Guys. Yeah. We're going to be bringing some
That was a good one.
limelight.
Daniel.
That was good.
That was good.
Go me. Onto SPAC Nation. We've got so much to talk about, actually. So where do we even begin?
They need to go
From
in
the
the whole trash
beginning.
bin, mate.
Where's the
That's
beginning,
where we
though?
begin.
Tell us from the part that you know from.
Let's get to the
So what I think I know is that SPAC Nation literally brainwashes the young...
Literally brainwashed.
Oh, no, okay.
First of all, explain what SPAC Nation is, because some people might not
Okay,
know
for those who don't know what SPAC Nation
is.
is, SPAC Nation is I'm not going to call them a church. They are an organization.
It can be a church. It can still be a church.
They are an organization who are claiming to be a church. They reside from Dirty South.
Hey.
And now...
Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
they
That's
come
where they
from
started
Birmingham.
from. Dirty
They're
South.
from Birmingham.
They're not. They go and recruit kids from Birmingham. They've got branches.
Oh, okay.
So
Now I get it.
some of you may have heard about them. They, I just feel like starting with the negatives. Let me not do that. Okay, so they're a church based in South London. They have quite a few young churchgoers. And yeah, for me, I just feel like they are brainwashing a lot of their young people. I don't have anything positive to say about SPAC Nation.
Obviously.
But Georgina, so me and Georgina have become very
I'm not obsessed.
intrigued. No, we're intrigued to figure out what's actually going on in SPAC Nation. We think that they are doing something really, really good. They're taking the young off the streets of London. They're stopping them from going out and stabbing or killing each other. However, I don't think that God is behind what they're doing. I think they're using God to kind of like disguise what they're really about. I don't know. What do you guys think about SPAC?
They're led by, what's this guy called? Pastor Toby.
Let's
I
just
couldn't
call
say
him
his name 'cause I
Toby
keep saying
Adeboyega.
Is that his name?
That's his name.
Yeah.
I'll just check it. All right, so
Maybe referred to
I'm
as
guessing
PT.
he called
yeah.
himself a pastor, right?
Yeah,
And he founded SPAC Nation, right?
definitely.
So I think from what I've seen, a lot of the young people refer to him as many things, but they definitely look up to him and look to emulate him. So everything it's almost like everything Pastor Toby does, we must do, and everything we do is for Pastor Toby.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them even go as far as calling him dad or father.
Yeah, father.
A lot of them do.
Yeah, I think they
more
all
or less
do.
all of them.
They call him PT. No, T.
Father,
What-
PT.
is it
That's
PT
what
or
Pastor
PT,
Toby, yeah,
Pastor
yeah.
Toby.
And yeah, he just. But I think from what I've seen, a lot of the gripe or a lot of backlash is coming towards him because he's the one kind of driving around in a lot of these luxurious
Lamborghinis
cars.
and
His
whatnot.
house, he literally lives in like a 10-bedroom mansion.
Where
In
Somewhere.
Surrey.
Yeah.
is it?
In where?
And his
I'm
neighbours
sorry.
were recently complaining.
Oh.
I think they had like a night vigil going on at his house until like 6 a.m. They were, you know how night vigils go. You pray, you worship, you pray, you worship. But the neighbours made it seem as though they were having a rave and calling it a godly dance-off until 6
But the
a.m.
thing is,
So
with
they
SPAC
trying to
Nation,
get-
anything is
get
possible
rid of-
because they don't do anything in the traditional way.
Yeah,
So they could have
So it
easily
could have
called it
been a
night
rave.
vigil and it could have been a rave.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, so
a holy rave.
For me, okay, so
Holy
I
race.
found out about SPAC Nation. I don't know if you guys all watched it, but I think it was like a year or two ago. There was a documentary on the BBC. I think it was called something about gang drill and redemption.
I think that's
something
where I
like
saw
that.
it.
I think it was called something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
And basically, this was the first time I ever heard about the
Was that
church.
the Policing in
And
London show or something.
um,
The Policing in London show.
I don't
even
even
know.
know. It was, but it was
I
like
don't know.
BBC Three or
it was a
something like that.
BBC
Oh, okay,
Three
yeah, I know what you're talking
documentary
about,
thing. And basically they were talking about how they have young men and women who were living quite a rough lifestyle. And this church had supposedly brought them into the, into a new way of living, so that they would turn away from living a life of crime or doing like, you know, murderers and all these sorts of people. And this place or this building was a place of redemption for them. And so there was one guy in particularly called, I think, Enrique, who was being ordained, Pastor Enrique. And he basically was reciting his story about how he was basically the way how he came about. He never mentioned giving his life to Christ. The way how he came about turning his life around was when he was he basically was standing in his estate and he was going to get stabbed, or he did get stabbed, sorry. And whilst he was on the floor, in between that transition of maybe about to die and living, like within that moment, he said that he felt that, God, I'm going to give you my life, whatever that means. I'm going to praise you forever. Yeah. So, and then after that, he then found this church, SPAC Nation, that brought him in. So when he said that, to be honest with you, I thought to myself, this guy probably had all the right intentions to start off with. And I think probably a lot of the people probably do have the right intention. And I'm not saying that everyone in SPAC Nation are wicked or they all don't believe in God. Because I think there are some of them who genuinely believe that actually this is a Bible-believing church. And I'm sure that there are some people that actually believe in that. Exactly. Yeah. There's not as many adults, but there are some adults.
I guess that people must bring their parents with
exactly.
them.
And then I think they became... When this show came on, basically, I think another aspect of it was that they realized that all the pastors were very young. So there were no like adults there. They were like 18, 19, 20, 21. And yes, you want a relatable pastor, but you want a pastor that also has wisdom and that you can grow from.
To add to that, George, I don't know if you remember, there was a point in the documentary as well where when he first got ordained and they were all like, pastor. They gave him a car. Yeah. And I remember that's when the first time I think I was watching that documentary and I was like, this is weird.
And
it was a Mercedes, and it was just one of those things where you're just like, this guy was like 21, 22.
Yeah, he just turned 21. He was like, oh yeah, my pastor. No, he actually drove to church in that Mercedes, and he was like, my pastor gave me this car.
It was really odd. And then throughout the documentary, they showed them basically, I can't remember what they were calling it, but essentially they were going on university tours.
Yes, that they were going on recruiting. Yes, exactly.
Okay, now I remember it.
And I remember then they showed them.
Yeah, okay. And they were on a coach, and one of the girls was saying, you have to do everything with the spirit of excellence, and they were doing their makeup and like contour and everything. So it was like you have to wear the best things that you've got on their makeup. And I was just like, okay.
And the thing is, do you know what?
At that point, it was...
To be honest,
it seemed all right.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't have any problem with that because I honestly thought, okay, yes, they're probably going to universities because they know at that stage is probably when kids are likely to go astray a lot more, especially when a child has been sheltered for so long. So to be honest with you, I didn't actually think anything negative about SPAC Nation then. I didn't have any thoughts about them. I probably thought to myself, actually, probably this is what kids need or younger kids need who are a lot more impressionable. I thought this is probably what they need anyway.
The only questionable bit about that documentary at the time was, remember then they showed the Hope Dealers?
Oh yes, on the stage. And they were in the balaclavas.
And that's when and they were in the church.
In the church.
And it was just a bit like, okay, like
it's a bit much.
It's a bit much.
It's a bit much, exactly. So so all of that has obviously passed.
Like gun fingers.
Yeah, it's like gun fingers.
That's what I was like.
They're using the Bible as gun fingers, exactly. So I think obviously fast forward to now, fast forward to the present day, SPAC Nation are now back in the limelight. Well, to be fair, they never really left the limelight, to be honest. They've always been in the limelight and they're actually affiliated with like political figures as well. So they're obviously now back in the limelight and we're seeing a whole heap of stuff about their leaders, about how they're recruiting young kids. And now we can, I suppose, put some context into what those university tours were about or what they're about now that we see what's actually going on now, whereas we were obviously all ignorant to it 2 years ago.
I think 2 years ago as well, or just when we all became slightly aware, was when they started putting out those promo videos as well. And I remember there was one, and I think there was one, I think it was called like Proof SPAC is a cult or something like that, but it was on YouTube and actually it was their promo video. It was, they basically clickbaited. They were actually really smart. I remember thinking, this is some really great marketing. But then it showed like you going into the church, then you see the people walking.
Oh, yes.
Walking.
I saw that. And you see of the Louvre.
Close up.
And then there was a Rolls car. Yes, I remember. And then there was even that Pastor Connor there, the Rainbow guy.
Do you
remember? The one that they now exposed.
Yeah.
I remember he was there.
Yeah, so I remember that video and it was kind of like, what is this?
What is
and
this?
All literally come dressed up to church. You're
I
like,
need to see this. I haven't
Bodycon,
seen it.
bodycon dress, everything. Literally, House of CB galore was there.
Yeah.
I think that
With
was
Louboutins.
I think that was my turning point when I saw that video. That was the point that made me think, nah, this is
What
a
is
farce.
this?
Yeah, this is long. What is this, man?
But so like you say, to the present day, I think why actually for the most part they're now a topic of conversation is there's been this person, isn't it?
The exposer. We love you, the exposer.
You know what
Keep on sharing.
Whoever that
hit
person
their voice.
is.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome back to
Hello. Welcome back to the exposer. Guys, this is very serious. I'm very upset at the moment. Bro, before they think that I'm the exposer, it's not me or I've never been to
This
SPAC.
is disgusting.
These people are manipulating.
So yeah, guys, we need to do some real serious prayers.
So here's another video, as you can see. Guys, I don't think you understand. I'm so angry.
It got to a point. I was listening to it. I said, I feel like this sounds like somebody I know.
I know, really.
That's exactly what I said.
But who does it sound like?
It actually, no, it sounds like someone I know.
It does.
But yeah, so the Mr. Exposer has been doing.
I think it's even a she now,
No,
you
yeah,
really?
I
think it's a she.
Do you think?
Yeah,
I think it's a girl.
You just automatically think it's a boy, but I actually think it's a
I
she.
think it's a
Because
girl.
the voice does put
And
you off.
some of like the wording
high
he or
as
she
well.
uses, I'm like, this is something a girl would say. So I feel like it's a girl.
I don't know.
But then what has Mr. or Miss Exposer what have they been
Is it called
exposing?
the exposer or
No,
The
Mr.
Exposer.
Is it
Oh,
the
is it the
Exposer?
It's called the Exposer.
Oh, okay.
What
Yeah,
has the
he's been
exposer
exposed,
saying?
or she has been exposing the pastors and the evangelists that go to SPAC Nation one by one. He's either been showing parts or videos that would about the seed? Is that what they call it?
That's the
The seed. So they have to pay
This word, yeah?
weekly seeds. That doesn't cover rent. It doesn't cover food. Seed is basically to continue building up the church. And there's a particular pastor. Are we mentioning a name, guys?
It's on the, is it on the thing?
It's on the
Miriam
Exposer.
Muller.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure. Well, I have my
There's
own.
a number of them, boy.
I have
What's
my
her name?
own experiences with Miss Mariam Muller or Muala.
Wait, do you know her?
Not personally, but like my friend. So my friend's older sister, when she had her shop in Westfield, she bought some lubes for like her bridal party. There was like 20 people.
Who had a shop in Westfield?
Cindy Shoes, Miriam Muller.
Okay, so this is a pastor in SPAC Nation.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
so Miriam Muller is a pastor in SPAC Nation. She had a shop, like a pop-up shop, which sold designer shoes, and she also had like a higher-end section of designer shoes in Westfield.
No, when was this? Because I've never seen
I
this.
think I
Yeah.
must have still been in like college.
Oh,
Which
okay,
West-
this is a long time
Bush.
ago.
Westfield,
one, no,
Stratford.
You know
one.
me,
Yeah,
I'm
that
deep,
outfield.
so
Yeah,
see,
she was
I
in Stratford.
I was in the
Anyways,
way.
so she had a pop-up shop in Stratford, Westfield. She used to sell designer shoes there. My friend's older sister was getting married in the year she first started that shop. And I think she gave her like 12K for her whole bridal party shoes. So to get Louboutins for the bridesmaids and the groomsmen. The shoes never arrived. Then another friend of mine, a really close friend of mine,
I
she
just don't
did
understand
the
why
same
they
thing.
didn't go to the actual Christian Louboutin store.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
counted, isn't it?
Sometimes
and
no.
that's
Right.
So she
Why
was
wouldn't you go-
providing shoes
Bruv,
for
I'd go
people,
to
but
her
what we
to
didn't
get my
know
points.
was these were her relatives, these were her friends. So it was shoes that they already had, and they were making it seem like, we got it from there. She sourced it for us, so it looked believable at the time.
Was the whole ploy like I do consignment, like I source
Yeah,
the things
basically,
and, then
and it
them on.
looked believable. She had a full shop, like she had customers, but we just didn't know that these were not real customers.
Yeah.
So another friend of mine
Trap.
went there again, and then so she basically ran off with loads of people's money.
Wow.
Someone put a whole lawsuit out for her. The shop got closed down. I think a few of them did get their money back. So for me, I knew about her from way back then. I knew she was involved in fraudulent activities. She's been
I love
to
it when
jail.
people say that.
Fraudulent activities.
She's been to jail in not just London, not just Spain, not just Germany. I think she's been to jail in Dubai. She's been to jail like 7 times in 7 different countries
Lord
or
have
wherever.
mercy.
She's
Like, she's a
international.
real criminal.
She's not even smart though.
Yeah, and like she's
If you're getting caught all this time,
these
Yeah,
countries.
yeah.
You're
but
not
I guess
smart.
it's because she's not getting a long enough or lengthy enough sentence, or she's just thinking.
I just feel like she
I'll go
can't
in
be
and do the
committed.
time
She
and come
can't be
back out and
committing
do
big
the same
enough
thing.
crimes. I just don't get it.
Anyway, so she's come out now after her sentences. Actually, no. So on her last sentence, she had a baby in jail, in prison. And then she came out. She had she was interviewed on This Morning TV.
No.
Oh, yeah. I heard about that.
Yeah.
Bro, this girl's making rounds, you know.
Yeah,
she was capitalized.
Yeah, she was capitalizing off it.
They capitalized off it.
So she had this whole sub story, got the nation sobbing along with her, only to find out she ended back in jail again for doing the same thing.
What was her sub story?
Her sub story was that
manipulated
she was
by an ex-boyfriend.
I had like a pimp, an ex-boyfriend. Yeah. He showed me this life. I wasn't really down for it, but you know, I just went along with it because I thought I was in love. So he introduced her to the life of fraud. He introduced her to the life
Suppose it was Pete.
I did question that, you know. I'll tell you why I questioned that. But anyway, so she had a whole sub story. Everyone believed her. She got big endorsements from, I can't remember who
Amanda Wakely.
Okay, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah. So
I don't even know how they done it.
No, do you know what?
Foundation.
People,
they're good at that.
They're still good now. My girl's talking at TED Talks. They've
dropped her now.
Yeah, only for that one. But did you not see what she done the other day?
No.
What did she do?
She had her whole event at the Dorchester Hotel when she had...
Was that with TED Talks?
No, this is another thing that she's still getting paid for.
Having all these events, which I don't understand how she's even... Like, do people not do their Googles?
People
like,
do
you not read about who you're inviting into your
establishment?
Organization. What the hell? So anyways, so she went to jail, sub story. Now she's back out. I feel like for what SPAC Nation do... She is the best person to have as their wing woman.
Yeah.
Is that it?
She's honestly the best because she's so like...
Smashbox.
She's like kingpin of fraud. That's who they need.
What's this, the Amanda Wakely thing?
No, this was at the Dorchester.
This is her most recent talk with Smashbox Cosmetics. I'm not being funny.
Are these people all right?
They're not.
They're not all right.
Sorry, guys, I didn't mean to throw you off guard, but I just can't believe it. That's what I'm saying. This girl's still booked and busy.
That's why I get like,
this girl's still booked and busy.
Because I'm just like,
God bless you.
Issues that bad?
How she still getting these endorsements? How are you still getting these endorsements and having these talks? It's mad.
There's something in the way that she carries herself.
But when she talks, it's not like she's articulate.
She's not articulate, but she's passionate.
Yeah, and also it's because she's got puts herself out there. She puts herself out there, guys. Yeah. She says, I have a history of this. I've done this. I had a bad past coming up.
Unapologetic.
She's not lying about her past. So if you're intrigued and want to find out
she's lying about her present.
Yeah. Yeah, you can say that.
Do you think so?
She's not being... I don't think she's being truthful. She's leaving some things out about her present.
She's just bare manipulative.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Yeah.
Disgusting.
I can't help it.
I just think she's a really good saleswoman. I just really do.
Which is probably why she's
been
able to get.
The thing is,
every con artist is a very good salesperson.
Yeah, but I feel like the difference, and I'm not condoning anything she's done, but I'm saying the difference between her and a lot of the people that we see kind of, what's this?
No, but she put that, she was mocking it,
she thinks she's a celebrity.
So basically, when TED Talks dropped her, she put that together.
So it's not real?
No, that's not real. She did that herself.
But yeah, I was going to say the only difference between her and the people that do like white collar crimes is that she's like a black young woman and it's just and she's gone to jail and she's been caught and all this other stuff. But there's people, let's be honest, that in the office every day they're committed all types of fraud.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Yeah, I'm not even opposed to all that. Like, do it innit if you want to do it.
Do it innit.
I just don't think you should do it in the name of Jesus.
This is it.
Like, don't do that. Like,
that
is a big problem.
Yeah.
I just cannot rate you at all for anything.
She doesn't do it in the name of Jesus. I'll give her that because she said, I don't know God. I know PT. I don't know who Jesus is. I don't have a relationship.
Did she say this?
On one of her Periscope videos.
So
she admits to not knowing Christ or knowing who he is and saying she's not doing it for him. She does it in the name of PT. So she wants people to give 1K seed. Is it every day or every week?
What kind of job is going to give a 16, 17-year-old, 18-year-old?
So that's why they go to university, because they have student finance. So it's like,
they don't even have that a week. They have it a term.
Yeah, it's true.
They have to stretch that money for the term.
But she says that, I don't care where you're going to go out and find it, just make sure you find it. So she's I think that if I was living in a trap house with her, I would feel very intimidated and I would think, I'm going to do whatever I need to do to find this 1K. If I have to take my mum's credit card, let me take that credit card and produce this 1K.
But this is why it's become a bit questionable, because why would you now start to basically brainwash a young person who may have come to that trap house for refuge for other reasons?
Because she herself is brainwashed.
And that's what I'm saying.
So she doesn't find anything wrong with what she's doing. I don't think she thinks it's wrong.
I think she knows it's wrong.
Do you think?
Do you think? Because the way she's moving, she's moving with her chest, you know. She is speaking with her chest.
I don't think she
and she is not apologetic at all.
I think,
or maybe she just thinks we move, boy. She just thinks,
again,
I'm doing what I'm doing and we move.
I'm still trying to get my head around how people are brainwashed. I'm still trying to get my head around that understanding that
how
people
young
are
people
physically
are
brainwashed.
It's very easy.
Yeah,
young people.
Yeah, exactly.
They're
easily influenced.
But then, do you know what? Honestly, I did listen to one of her periscopes where she was talking, and I knew she was talking absolute rubbish from beginning through to end. But then I thought to myself, if someone is hearing this day in, day out, this is all you hear over and over and over again. It becomes a record in your head where you don't even know, but you naturally just adopt that style and that way of thinking.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with anyone. If you're around anyone that's good and they're doing good things, it's not necessarily that you want to emulate them, but you like being in that presence. And it's not to say that, I want to be exactly like you, but I like traits of you. I like your characteristics. And therefore I want to be able to show those kind of traits as well. You know, when we always say like, my friends encourage me to do this, or, my friend's done this, or my family members have done this.
Just
and
like when your parents say, show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. Like, it is, you are the people you keep. So.
And it's kind of like, that's your company. And I feel like when I listened to her, I thought to myself, wow, I can actually understand 100% how people can be brainwashed by her. Or not even brainwashed, let me not even say, or how people can fully believe and be influenced by her. But then I thought to myself, it all starts from the head. And the head is this Pastor Toby Adeboyega guy. He's the person that drives everything forward. He's the one that drives it forward. So regardless of if she is openly testifying that, I don't know God, I don't know who this God is, whether I make it to heaven or not, I don't care. It's not about that. That's what she said.
I haven't seen that. That's what I'm like.
She literally said, whether I make it to heaven or not, I don't know. I don't know God. Who's seen God? I know PT. I've seen PT, and therefore I'm going to be like my father. So that's what she's saying. Do you know what I'm saying? So if you're living with this person,
she said this,
where this is their beliefs and this is their thoughts, and this is what they're shouting in the house day in and day out, and making you wake up in the morning and do whatnot and send. I feel like it's from the head. And this guy, this Pastor Toby guy, he's obviously put a lot of expectations on these people that are called leaders and pastors. Yeah. So it's quite obvious that everyone who's considered a pastor in SPAC Nation are not just a pastor because they've been ordained or by anything that they've done because they've studied the word or they've done anything. It's based on what they give. And that's what it's all based on. That's That's what the Pastor Samuel said. So there's one guy he's like literally his right hand man, Pastor Sam, and he basically was saying, none of you have given to this level of a certain girl. Don't think you can ever talk. Don't think you can ever talk about anybody. Don't think you can talk about any pastor like that if you've never given to their level. So it's obvious you get your title based on what you're given. Wow. And so he was saying, the Pastor Toby was saying, if you need to give £1,000 a month for offering, that's nothing. What's £1,000 a month for offering? That's nothing. That doesn't mean anything. That's just the beginning. For offering, you should be given that weekly. If your job can allow it. He said, I'm raising leaders that will give 5k a month. It doesn't mean anything. From where to where?
So can I just ask, what is the teaching within SPAC around what the money is used for? Because if I'm not mistaken, at this point, they still don't have church building, have you?
They don't have a church building. No. They're still going from hotel to hotel to hotel. However, they're saying that it's helping them to like people have businesses that they're helping them to fund. It's saying that they have trap houses that's helping them to house all these homeless people. That's what they do. They go to people that they believe are vulnerable, and you know that they can definitely.
Behavior.
It is. I don't know what the difference. This is the real Pied Piper, Pastor Toby is. To be honest with you,
that's it. Yeah.
Honestly, him and R. Kelly should be in the same jail cell in 2020.
2020. That's it. One direction only.
I don't know. I think because at one point I remember reading about this church, and I said, if it speaks to the youth, then I'm all for it. Do you know what I mean?
I said the same
thing. But
now
it just seems like it's like a money making scheme. And do you know what it is as well? I don't even the money bit is even aside. It's when you hear what comes out of the mouth of the people. So I think one of you sent that video of that young girl yesterday, and she was just chatting and you could see she's basically copied what she's been seeing.
Yeah,
and she was just talking about she was 18, I think, and this is when I used to do fraud. I said, sorry, what? You're
18. At what age were you doing this?
18, but not only that, she literally had a hype man in the background.
Yeah.
And she was talking about PT being her father, like the tree of the he is the tree of all the branches.
Person in the background is like, yes. And she goes, when I gave £100, I was like, yeah. And
I can't hear you. Speak up.
Oh, is it? Oh. And she was like, when I gave £100, I'm thinking, no, that's some big money. But now, when I look back, it's nothing. I'll give £500.
I don't have a job anymore, she said. Remember?
Oh, yeah. She doesn't
Remember
have
she
a
said
job.
because of the fraud, she doesn't have a job anymore.
Yes.
So how's she giving the money?
For me, I don't
Now I
think
give daily.
Why doesn't
now I give my seed daily. Where are you getting it from?
Where you getting
He
the money
clearly
from?
knows where the money's coming from, even though if he's gonna like turn a blind eye, you know where the money's coming from. You know what activities are going on.
Yeah.
Why, if you are a pastor, why aren't you correcting these children and saying no? Like, I want you to give offering, I want you to give tithe, but this isn't the way to go about it. Let's try and help you find a job. Let's try and help you. He himself is
Not
a
even
criminal.
just that. It's not even about giving offering and giving tithe. Number one, I don't expect any young kid to necessarily be given
true.
tithe. I don't really expect that. If you want to give offering, that's a free will. You can do that as you want. What I don't like is I'm fully sure and fully aware, I fully believe that the way how this girl was like, oh, PT is my father and he's the tree and I've been planted and so I need to be like my father. I honestly believe that he would have seen that. And as a true leader and as a true pastor, you need to always check your people. If they're like, hold on a minute,
And if
don't
you're bringing
ever
your
get
name
caught up
into
in
it,
praising the man. Praise the one that's brought the man here, and that is God, Jesus Christ. Do you understand?
Yeah.
When you now start taking that praise for yourself, then it now becomes a cult.
And that's what goes back to the video he posted on his own Instagram about his name, saying, referring it back to him being a god.
I feel like a lot of Christians like misinterpret the word, and I think it's the same for a lot of religions. And I genuinely believe that SPAC Nation have taken elements of the word and just twisted it to mean whatever they want it to mean, and they've used that as an anchor to preach whatever they want to preach. The same way they've kind of said, the Bible clearly says, "Don't you know that ye are gods?" Right?
Yeah.
Small g. But a lot of people take that as, okay, I'm a god.
I'm a god.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where, yes, you are a god in that you're made in God's image, but you're not the god.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I just feel like that's when people get it messed up, because they're going, PT's this, PT's that. And you're just like, he's a man.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Another thing that really rattled me, and I think again shook me to my core watching that video of that 18-year-old girl, was that she said, "I am Christ. I am purpose."
Yeah.
That's exactly what she said.
I didn't hear that.
She said, "I am."
That's exactly what she said. She said, "I am Christ. I am purpose. I am my father. I am PT." She said, just because we don't have the same blood, we have the same gene. Is this girl done, bro? What's she talking about, bro?
I don't know.
And she was like, we've got the same gene. We've got the same gene. We mightn't have the same bloodline. And she said, I remember when my mum used to tell me, when you go out into the world, you're representing me. I represent PT.
I was like, what?
Hey? What?
I was like, someone find me a wooden spoon.
Lord of Jesus. I said, what is she saying?
Where's this girl?
I said,
My choice.
I was thinking to myself, where's her, has her mum seen, have her parents
These
seen
children
this?
are lost.
I feel like a lot of parents
they are
they're not aware of what's actually going on. You're going to think like, oh, my child wants to go to church. Of course, you're going to encourage your child to go to church, but they don't really know what's actually taking place in these places. So,
but as a
The
parent,
parents need to go.
Yeah,
not even
and
just
stay
that.
church.
Not even just that. Are you
Attend the
telling
church
me
with
that
your child.
every one of these kids in these trap houses do not have parents? Every one of them. I refuse to believe.
But
Yeah,
that's
'cause
why
it's
I
like,
feel
why
that
is
the
every
brainwashing
child
has
to
come in.
believe?
Because let's be honest, that's what emotional abuse is. You start to begin to separate from people from their families and the things that are true. So it's that constant thing where it's like, your families, they're not going to do what we need you to
And that's
do.
what
They're
they
not
say.
doing.
Yeah,
They
that's what
keep
they say.
basically they put it in your head that
to the point where you actually
separate
start to
yourself.
believe it.
Come and live here. What child do you tell to come and live away from their parents?
Exactly.
Mariam actually was saying on one of her
what
parents'
responsible person would tell you to leave your
Georgina,
family
look at the mum
as
that
a
was
child?
begging Mariam.
Doesn't the Bible tell you to respect your family?
So Mariam had a girl that was living in her trap house. The mum was abusing her, like probably saying, you know, let my daughter come home. I don't agree with what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. The girl got sick. The girl was in hospital. The mum was in hospital with the girl. She rang Mariam to say, oh, I haven't got enough money for food. My mum's here. I'm in hospital. Do you want to speak to her? Basically, maybe to back up her story. Her mum started to apologize and was like, oh yeah, so about what I said last week, I'm so sorry for saying these things. I didn't mean it. I was angry. It was in the moment. Please, can you help us with so-and-so funds? That's the mum. So I feel like that's why they're able to get away with what they're...
No. But she put the mum on blast, didn't she?
Yeah, she
on
put the mum
Periscope.
Yeah.
And she was saying, you see, don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Wow.
To the mum.
Yeah.
That is war talk.
Yeah, literally.
I was like, I'm dead.
But the mum's already lost ratings anyway by, like, do you not have relatives or family? Do you not have anyone that you can go to
But
first?
that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I feel like the demographic that they're going for, the children and their parents
It's
as
so
well.
sad.
It's so sad because it's literally
So
they're going
sad.
for the people
Those
that
are in
have
poverty.
Yeah, that have no
nothing.
choice.
Yeah.
And where they've put money on this pedestal where it's
Yeah.
kind of, and that's what they're using. Their whole preaching ethos is around finances and actually making it for yourself. But they don't talk about other types of prosperity. There's other types of prosperity outside financial prosperity. You can do well in life outside of where you are from a business point of view or your money. You know, what happened to education? What happened to being caring? What happened to, philanthropy? You know, what happened to all these things that we kind of want to round out your children with? You don't want to preach that message constantly, money this, money that, money this, money that. And I feel like that's where, like, unfortunately, those people that maybe haven't come from a prosperous background or where their money is easily accessible, of course, they're going to be like, I've never seen this much money. I've never seen this much this. You're going home, you watch such and such's video, you see Future doing his nonsense with this chap, this Rolly, that they tell you, oh, you two, if you do this, you'll be like, yeah, I'm going to collect.
Well, PT's reason for doing that is because he says that's relatable to the kids. So yeah, I wear Louboutins on my feet and I wear Rolex and I wear a Fendi shirt because the people that I'm approaching see that as like it's a glamorized thing. So if I'm wearing this, they're obviously going to want to be dressed up like that too. So I feel like we have something to be related on or be relatable to. So I'm just like, but no, I don't go to my church because my pastor wears this
If my
next
pastor
suit
started
or-
wearing designer, I'll be like,
I'll
I'm
be like,
out.
oh, that's where my tie and my offering's
I'm
going
gone.
to. You
I
see
wouldn't.
yourself, like, no,
No,
I would question
as in-
it. I wouldn't leave, but I'd be like,
If I saw my pastor right now in GGG print from head to toe coming to do,
I can't take you seriously.
Yeah,
if you're wearing GG, if you're wearing it openly like that.
Designers are different, but I'm
Designers
talking about
different.
that kind
When
of
you've got the print,
like
garish designer,
yeah, the
like
print.
Fendi,
No one knows.
and nobody
I might
knows.
think it's from
Yeah.
M&S. Like I won't even know.
This is my thing, yeah. My thing is using. He's obviously got a motive. Like he's got a plan, and he wants to draw
everyone
them
says
in.
his plan is to run away to Nigeria.
I was looking at the
He
Instagram
says the
comments.
church has raised
That's
1
what he
million,
said.
isn't it? How much have they raised? Like
They've raised-
1.7 million.
That's
So,
not possible. They've raised way more than that.
Of course they have.
Yeah,
But
that's what I was thinking.
for the government, they've raised 1 million.
Yeah.
With the kids, with a church full of students, really.
Really?
So yeah, I do believe he's going to run away to Nigeria.
You know, let me tell you. You know, with the Pastor Toby, like I said, the reason why everybody is the way how they are is because of him. So exactly what Danielle just said. I saw one of his videos where he's talking about, I need to relate to the young people.
Is that how he speaks?
That's how he talks. He does. I need to be
silly
able to
jaw.
relate. And if they see me, their pastor wearing Fendi, Gucci,
Georgina's and her-
and my service. And my service, you know, I need to deliver a lit message. That's what he says. I need to deliver a lit message. Lit. My message needs to be
thought he
lit
was
to
saying
them so
elite.
they can understand. If I come to bring them the Bible and talk to them about Jesus, they don't know. Pause. Hold on a minute. The word of God still stands.
Hallelujah.
Regardless whether you think it's not up to you to tell them whether that word is going to reach to them or not. That's the power of the Holy Spirit. That's not your
Preach,
that's not
Pastor
your
Georgina.
place
It's
to
true.
come
This
in
is true.
and
You
say
can't
it's
do
not your
that.
place to say that word is not going to reach to them. Do you know how powerful the word of God is? Number one, to say it's not going to reach, but your perishable designer clothing is going to reach.
Exactly.
Come off of it.
So him
honestly,
already,
I was mad.
Yeah,
I was absolutely livid when I saw that. I said, this guy is taking the piss. I'm sorry.
What did you say on the Reggie Yates interview?
No, I didn't even know where I saw it. I just saw it on one of the clips.
Around the table.
I just saw it as a clip.
Even Reggie himself, he doesn't know anything.
Cups that he was drinking tea, and I said, "Come on, IKEA."
Were they in his house?
They were in his house. Yeah, they were in his house. And then he had these two bodyguards, Pastor Connor, the one that was stealing Chinese food from people, and the other one beside, and the other person beside him. That Pastor Neff.
I didn't even say. Are you guys aware of Pastor Kevin? George, do you know Pastor Kevin?
Who's Pastor Kevin?
So he's one of the ones that were on that BBC Free show. Yeah.
What
so
show?
I went to the one we all spoke about in the beginning. I was filling up my car in the petrol station or whatever, and then as we drove out, we saw a Range Rover in front of us, and then the Range Rover, I don't know, it just shot off in speed and crashed into a guy on a motorbike, yeah.
What?
And I thought, oh my gosh, he's dead. Me panic, yeah. Mm-hmm. Guess who drops out the range?
That pastor.
Pastor Kevin.
Oh,
but he's a passenger. The driver drives off. He pulls over to the side. Pastor Kevin comes out and he's trying. I don't know what he's saying. All of a sudden, he's trying to lift up the guy on the bike, and this is not a lie, Pastor Kevin. Anyways, he brings out cash to say, because the guy was like, I'm not getting up, I'm hurt. He brings out cash and he's like, just take this, you're fine. The guy said, I am not getting up. He took off his helmet and he just laid flat. So that's how you know that they really are just about cash. Like, you think you can get a claim and to say, probably get 8K out of it or whatever. Like, he legit flew off his bike. Like, so I thought, wow, this is it.
Where was this?
Like Bethnal Green. So do you remember the church is in Shoreditch? It's not too far from Bethnal Green. So I don't know, maybe they were coming from church. I can't remember the time. It was in the afternoon though. What? And he brought out like a wad of cash.
It's a lot, you know.
And was just like,
it's like a whole Netflix series.
It is.
It's mad. Like a whole Netflix Wait, can we talk about TK? Is his name TK?
Yeah.
TK.
Oh, he is hilarious.
The one that
I'm so sorry.
He used to go there.
You know, just before we talk about TK, I just need to say this is allegedly as well. So people, it has to be allegedly. But you know, one of their prolific pastors, Pastor Sam.
Prolific.
One of his chat was exposed on the Exposer.
Oh.
And this is how it went. Can I just read some of it to you?
Yeah.
Just because again, this shook me to my core. Again, Esther, this is Pastor Sam talking. This thing was not want to be great. Hold on. So, okay, pause. This is Pastor Sam talking. Esther, was you in service today? I'm assuming this is Esther. No, sir, I was at work. He said, okay, very fine, or V fine. Then the message then goes on to say, ooh, please. Listen, this is the Pastor Sam talking. Please, girls, listen, girls, let me tell you all something now. I will kick out all of your slow asses out of this house 10 times over. Rachel is gone. Pastor? This is the pastor. Yeah. 10 times over, Rachel is gone, not because of her relationship with Pastor Alicia, but because she is not my issue. If you want to follow, you will keep using your stupid ass to continue talking. You all sound so effing stupid, like dumb idiots who have no sense in their head. What makes you think you have the ability to... Hold on.
Wow.
And then swing moves forward. Sorry.
He's profaning them.
He's literally...
Wait, when you say the pastor, are you talking about...
What makes you think you have the ability to discuss Pastor Alicia? None of you have sewn up to that level. Know your rank. You think you really have the ability to talk about someone that feeds you, You are all asses. You are all sick with a 19-year-old. Definition of poverty, if you ask me. Imagine, that's what he's saying to them. Don't care whatever you have to say for whatever reason you're talking. If I start pieces your lives from Mimi to Lloydie to Rachel to Esther, Mary, you are not like me because you will all think one is quiet. One does not think just. So shut the F up and go to bed before you see some shit tonight. Are you guys all effing okay in your mind? Don't F with me. This is the pastor talking
to the
young girls that live in his trap house. This is the pastor. So imagine what actually, this is something that's being exposed. And you know, yeah, we're talking about these things and everything, but I think I don't know what more needs to be seen and why nothing's being done.
What?
I just don't
What
get
can
it.
you even do? Like run up into one of these trap houses and tell all the kids to get out.
But not even just that. The Huffington Post has now covered the story.
See?
The Daily Mail has now covered the story. But then yet, what is happening? People like Mariam Mola are booked and busy. People like the Pastor Toby is still sitting down at the Conservative convention when Boris Johnson is talking. They still
Do you know why he's able to do that? Money.
Yeah, because
That's it.
Money talks. And he's obviously, Pastor Toby's not dumb, innit?
It's not dumb at all.
He sees that, look, the world works a certain way, but then he forgets that the word of God isn't about this world.
Yeah.
It's about the world to come or where we're trying to get to. So if his whole preaching doesn't revolve around anything to do with actually, everlasting life, salvation, because that's none of his preachings around.
You never heard that. It's always prosper, financial breakthrough.
So at the end of the
I've
day,
never even heard them mention God in any of their sermons.
at the end of
I'm
the
sure
day,
they do, but I've never heard it.
they've got a church of sorts, but their belief and their doctrine isn't aligned to the word of God that we know. So it's one of those things where, like, unfortunately, a lot of people that we know that we're friends with, you can't blame them. A lot of people have not read the Bible for themselves, or they haven't investigated it for themselves, or they haven't questioned it for themselves. And I can honestly say, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, I think we're all Christians here, right? At some point in our spiritual
Blood
life,
of Jesus.
we've had to say, we've asked ourselves, so what does this all mean? You question it for yourself and go off on your own to make sure you understand. But we were all born.
Yeah.
Just what I'm saying. But these young people, ask them, then they'll be quoting scripture. Yeah, because as it says, my friend, you don't know. You don't even know. As it says in Matthew, whatever. But I just believe that until these people take it upon themselves to say, do you know what, I want to see what this is for myself. Let me figure it out. Let me get my own understanding. Like you said, that Marion girl, she said, I don't know this, I don't know this, I know PT.
Yeah.
So as long as PT is telling her, she's just going to drink and say, yeah. When she's sitting there chatting on the periscopes or whatever, she's not looking at the Bible, she's not reading from the word, she's just talking, everything is in her head.
She even said that.
I don't even think they've even been taught about testing spirits or even discerning anything. They don't even know that.
When the one that's talking is the
spirit.
That's the spirit. That's the spirit they should be testing.
Spirit of Malika.
That's the spirit, innit? That's the spirit, bro. You know, there was even, okay, this is one more, but I'm going to say, I watched one other video, even the other guy, I don't even know what his name is, one of the white guys, one of the white pastors, and he was listening, honestly, this pains me. He was listening to a message that Pastor Toby was preaching.
Yeah.
And Pastor Toby was supposedly speaking in tongues.
Yeah.
And let me tell you what this boy was doing. He was stopping and playing that message, and he was imitating the tongues, writing down the tongues to rehearse for the message that he was going to deliver.
Oh no!
So he was like, "Oh man, play, man." I promise, it's on bruv. It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube. It was on YouTube. I promise to God. I promise to God. Yeah. And then after it was like, and then Pastor Toby is like, Malika.
You're joking.
That's exactly what he was doing.
And
then
I said,
I cannot come and die.
Because then I said, do you know what? Then I said, when I watched that, I said, do you know what? If they do not believe that this is a cult, because now you're mocking the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
You're
100%.
fully mocking the Holy Spirit.
They're all going to get what's coming to them at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You think you can imitate somebody's tongue like that?
Yeah.
Like you think you can copy, you think that's not what it means to speak tongues?
Like, speaking in tongues, they literally all speak in tongues.
I think they think it's Pastor Toby's language. They probably think they're speaking they probably think they're speaking Pastor Toby's language.
No one understands it. Even you.
There's no way you can understand the origin or the understanding or the power of speaking in tongues if you are writing down word to word what somebody is saying.
You know that thought has never entered my mind to try and write it.
But that's a madness. That's why.
But can you even, after you speak in tongues,
Only
can
that's
you
what
even
the
remember what you said before?
It's
because he recorded it.
Yeah.
To be
that's what I'm saying.
honest with you, I believe that's what the devil will try to do.
I
I feel like the devil, because speaking in tongues is a language that the devil can never understand. So I feel like the devil will try and try to copy what the tongue means to try and get what the understanding or get the revelation behind it.
But those words without the Holy Spirit are meaningless.
Are meaningless. You're not making noise. You're just making blah, 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 blah. That's what you're saying to me. You're talking
Trash.
Bollocks! That's it. Absolute bollocks. Talking bollocks to your pastor, TP, or whatever he's called. Bollocks!
No, but yeah.
Absolute rubbish.
Nah, man.
Nah, do you know what?
Like,
the more you speak about this figure, we just go deeper and deeper.
Yeah, guys, we could be here till...
I just realised the whole thing is a freaking shambles.
It's a sham. It's a shambles.
It's
an absolute sham.
It's a real farce.
It's an absolute sham.
I feel sorry for the young people though.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for their parents.
I think they're going to
genuinely
fear
believe
PTSD.
that there's some people that unfortunately their home life is no better. So they're just flocking to some safe haven.
They're looking for something. Like
and
they
I think it's going to be even more traumatic for them when this organization or this cult actually comes to an end. It is a cult. I think when the cult comes to an end and they get found out and hopefully the whole building and the whole church gets shut down, I think some of the kids who are now left in ridiculous amount of debt from taking out loans and whatnot, they're literally going to have PTSD. Yeah. I honestly believe so. I think that what they're doing, that they're saying that they're helping young kids, but they just don't know what they're destroying. Yeah. They are destroying like literally the generation now and the generation to come because they're feeling them with all of this rubbish. And
the whole Mariam that said, "Oh, I like my daughter sometimes."
Do you know what I'm saying?
And I'm not a woman's person, but yet you're the face of every woman talk and every woman organization. That's the whole point why people have bought into you.
It's called mentoring.
Exactly.
So what that's
the whole point of your business is everything that you say that you're not.
Do you know what? There's nothing wrong with SPAC. What SPAC are doing, as long as they take God out. Because
don't do that.
When it comes to business, everything that they're teaching about business, go and do it. Everything they're talking about, saying, you need to be able to collect funds and blah, blah, blah.
You do.
All these things, do it.
All their skills are transferable. Completely.
Leave God out of it.
Leave God out of it. Stop calling yourself a church. Stop calling yourself pastors. Stop talking about God, the Bible. All of these things,
just leave it out.
Stop.
Yeah.
Because actually, you're
causing more harm than any good.
Yeah.
Literally.
And people that genuinely want to know about God and people that genuinely really genuinely want to change their life for the better and actually have a relationship with Christ, this will probably put them off for life.
Just imagine this is
your first encounter.
Exactly. This will put them off. Yeah. And honestly, I just pray for the ones that are still within that church who are not yet so far gone. To be fair, again, as I say, the word of God is so powerful and so potent that it's even able to reach them even in their deepest and their darkest valley. So I'm still hopeful and, believing that even those kids, even that girl who is so far gone in saying that, she emulates her father, PT, that even her is able to be snatched out from such a cult
100%.
and to actually get to know the one true father who is Jesus Christ. And that's what I'm praying that they all get, because again, we can talk about it for so long. If nothing's done about it, these people are still going to be recruiting these kids. They're still going to be doing what they're doing, destroying lives and all these things. That they're going to continue doing that. But until then, I'm just praying that these kids will have their own encounter by themselves. That's the only thing you can honestly pray for.
True.
And they just capture Pastor Toby and that head of his
and lock him up with Mr. Kelly.
Literally. And the rest of all his fake pastors.
Because they might not see the effects of what's happening now, but in a few good years to come, when they're looking at, they want this loan or they want to get a mortgage or they're going to have real issues. And it's just so bad. Like, it's so bad. I'm just hoping that one of them opens their eyes and pulls another friend and just runs. Just drag your friend and run out of there. Go home.
So
all in good time.
Yeah.
And on that note,
blood of Jesus, take the wheel.
Hallelujah.
Thanks for listening to another episode of And on That Note.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. Tell a friend to tell a friend, your aunties, your uncles, your sisters, and the whole shambaz. Thank you.
Bye.